Welcome back to Lancashire for Sunday League to Legend here on Football Manager 21. I'm Charlie, and this is being recorded on Monday evening, which has just seen Prime Minister Bojo announce a new lockdown. So I'm cheering myself up with a game of Football Manager. This is a pre-season friendly, so we have reached pre-season for 21-22. And there has been, if I'm honest, hardly anything to happen in pre-season, aside from fans being unsure whether Connor Finlayson should start. We are balls deep in pre-season. We've played plenty of fixtures so far, all of which have been fairly positive, mostly wins, just a couple of results not going our way. There's been a draw and a loss, but we've played a lot of games. We actually played most of them at Lancashire's FA County Ground because our own home, Fox Lane, is being renovated. It's been upgraded. About a few hundred seats are being added. So we have temporarily moved, I think for the next 4 months, here in Leyland to the Lancashire FA, which does ask the question, as Connor Finlayson opens the scoring, why we didn't just go there to start with at the beginning of the save. I didn't really think of that. Didn't think that was an option. So Fox Lane, yeah, having a few hundred seats added, as we have, of course, gained promotion from level 10 up to level 9. The other big news is that the European Championships were won by England. So for anybody that suggests that the England national team are overpowered in Football Manager, might have a point. Gareth Southgate with the triumph there. So England national team doing well, winning their first major honour since 1966. I was trying to think, I don't think the 1998 Le Tournoi counts. Fairly sure. The other news is in terms of players, obviously, as Connor Comer has an effort that strikes the bar and then is followed up. He's been the subject of plenty of bids. All teams seem to be coming for him, but he's managed so far to resist the temptation to move. Yaxley are the latest, who I believe team around Peterborough. They have come in for him and offered him a contract. He's not decided either way yet. We're still waiting for that. I did plan for this. I did expect Connor with his, he scored over 50 goals for us last season. I expected Tom Dawson and or Connor Finlayson to replace him effectively in the first team. But he's still here, which leaves us with 3 very good strikers on the books, all of which are being paid over £100 in appearance fees after they appear for us. So whether Comer stays or goes, I think we're in a pretty good position. This is obviously a friendly against Daisy Hill, who were a team in our league last season. They were down at the lower reaches, so it's a bit of a layup for us. But I do think that it's important, especially when you go up the leagues, to arrange friendlies that help you just gain a bit of confidence as Connor Comer picks up his second. It's Russo there on the right wing. So he's a new signing that we're having a look at, whether he can do any business for us. But that's a good cross and a good header by our number 1 striker. So as I was saying, Daisy Hill were in the North West Counties Division 1 North with us last year. Since then, we've obviously moved up and the league has been confirmed. For a long time, it didn't look like anything was going to happen at level 10, but it has been updated. The season starts somewhere in September in 2021. So I can tell you with some certainty that everything's going well. There's no lockdown. Vaccination has been done for everybody. It's all perfectly fine. There are fans in the stands. Some of them, anyway. We will, after the game, just look at the transfers and those other pre-season results as well. It has been a pretty good time all round. Pre-season's been long, though, because the season finished a little bit late. It's been pushed back, so I think there's been about 3 months between games as Connor Russo scores a really good goal low down, beating the goalkeeper at his near post. So he's one of several new players that are featuring here. Emil Worrell is in goal, young lad. So we have Kontakos, our Australian goalkeeper, pretty much all of last season. But this young man is pushing him for the starting jersey. Forbes at right back, he was here last year. Dobson and Stanley, new combination in central defence. Dave Stanley retired, as did Richard Pell. So that has meant that we had to get basically a new look defence. Wildin is at left back. He's a new signing. And then we've got Russo Heslop in central midfield alongside old Diego getting a start. Marshall is on the left, and up front we've got Finlayson and that man, Connor Comer. Here he is on the ball, and here he is slotting home. You will not be surprised to know that pre-season has pretty much gone to form. We are scoring lots of goals, such as this. We're also conceding a few as well. Last season, I think our average score was about 5-2 in all our games. We scored something like 136 goals in the league. Just goes to show you how well we did there. But that is another good call by the official. Comer keeping himself onside and firing home. As we reach the break here, just before we do reach the break, I will just make a tactical change. Bit of background information here. And in fact, as you can see, Heslop and Marshall are both on trials with us, where we have seemed to sign pretty much every single player possible on a trial. We must have given out something like 100 trials to different players, all to see if we could find the best players for us going into next season. The reason I've made those changes just before half-time is because when I do, the record button is down at the bottom left corner, and so I miss out sometimes on making changes at the break. But we have made those changes, even though we're in the 49th minute, as Heslop steps up and he puts it away. Cool finish, a 3-minute double salvo from the Albion. Daisy Hill not really putting up much of a fight here, as it's been suggested that we play for set pieces. I don't think we need them, to be quite honest. Both Finlayson and Connor Comer have come off, so that gives an opportunity. Boubacar Balde is one of our backup strikers. We signed him last season because he scored a hat-trick against us, basically. Really impressed by him. And I have to say, he played pretty well at the end of last season. Got a few goals for us. I think he got 7 in total for us. But he's captain, he's leadership material, apparently. According to the stats, the recommendation was to put him in as our captain, which is a bit strange because he's not guaranteed a start. Last year, our captain was Dave Stanley, who, along with Trent Coulter as his vice-captain. So oftentimes what would happen is it would be Coulter with the armband. In order to change that this season, I decided to put the captain's responsibility on Connor Comer. I had a feeling that might maybe help convince him to stay at the club as well, if you can see that he's such an important and integral part of the squad. Whether that works or not, I'm not sure. As I say, he is making a decision about whether to move to Yaxley or not. I, of course, hope that he doesn't. Really wanting to stay. We are paying him quite a whack for an appearance fee. So hopefully he decides that he's going to be here for the season to come. And we can have a really good go at the Level 9 League Championship. I don't see why we wouldn't. I'm just going to show you our formation while we're here. We ended last season looking at the league table. Obviously, don't need to do that anymore as a pre-season friendly. We can see that the new players, Heslop, Russo, really doing some good business for us there on the right side of midfield. Corral, he's a new boy. Let's bring him on for Jamie Forbes. Tommy Lent, central defender. Let's give him a run out. And of course, Trent Coulter on for old Diego. So with half an hour to go, that's a decent run out for these lads. They can get some minutes under their belt No goals since the break, so this seems to be the classic Football Manager game of two halves, where you begin in good spirits, get goals on the board, and then the second half is perhaps not so exciting. Just the way it goes. We'll always take a 6-0 victory. We haven't kept many clean sheets in pre-season, as you can imagine. This tends to be the Leyland Albion method. So I'll be surprised if we hold out against Daisy Hill. And as I say that, they do have an attack. Yeah, pretty much par for the course for us to concede. Although we have conceded a corner in that instance. Let's see if it comes in and comes to anything for our visitors. One of the little tips for anybody that's playing at a level 10 or level 9, the lower reaches of the English football pyramid, is to have your pre-season friendlies at your ground. And of course, now we're at the Leyland FA County ground, as Boubacar Balde with a really good finish, though he has picked up a knock, I do notice. There's plenty of scope for fans to attend. So as we're growing our brand, and of course we play the most exciting football in the country at the moment, with so many goals scored and conceded, it has to be said. We've invited all of our friendlies back at our place, where we can sort of maximise our revenue. When you make a friendly, it will tell you just how much you're having to pay the visitors, and it gives you a bit of an indication of how much you're going to get out of that one. So we've been playing teams generally in our local area. That's the other tip as well, because you get more fans coming down. I assume that translates into Football Manager. You would think it so, wouldn't you? As Balde is going to recycle possession here, but it is stolen by Kerrigan. Daisy Hill on the counter now. They're coming through us in great waves. And yes, for any fans that wondered, we have indeed conceded a goal. 7-1. So basically the second half, it's been a draw, a 1-1, considering we went into the break at 6-0 up. And I mean, they were queuing up at the station there. Jonathan McIntosh with the finish in the end, but it could have been one of 3 players that knocked it in for Daisy Hill. And they're here again, but a good block there by our chap, as Heslop seizes on a loose ball. Dawson through. Dawson fires at the keeper. Surprising, because he's played well in pre-season, grabbed plenty of goals. You see our set-piece routine here, and it's going to be played back out to Santos, one of our new signings, left winger. Played well against us this season, and that's why he's been given the opportunity to come into Leyland Albion. And that is game, set, and very much match at 7-1. Yeah, pleased with the result. Yeah, plenty of green there for the players that participated. The ones that don't will get minutes in the under-23s that are playing this week. I did expect to be telling you about a lot of different player movement. I sort of expected our entire squad to be poached. We've done so well, especially the likes of Harry Walker, who's actually injured at the moment. He's going to be out for about 4 weeks, I think. Connor Comer, Trent Coulter, Joshua Ede, who we brought in on the left. Unfortunately, or fortunately for us, it's not actually happened. A bit of a surprise. Only 221 fans in attendance. Yeah, that sounds about right. In terms of our transfer history, I'll just show you the players that have come in, because it's not as many as I thought, to be honest. As you can see, Ricardo Santos came in from Cleator Moor, always played well against us. Craig Stanley, a defender, as is Tommy Lent. He signed from Bury AFC. Mike Corral can play pretty much anywhere on the right. And then we've got Connor Russo. He's a right winger as well. Courtney Wilding, left back. We've let go Andy Metcalf. He went to North End United. In terms of player trials, look at this. These are all the players that we've had a look at. There are plenty that we could have brought in that have come in. We had a look at them. Basically, the idea is that we have a quick look at their stats and see if they're any good. As you can see, Liam Hines, not really much better than the likes that we've got at the moment. If he's not as good as James Wood, who can play defensive midfielder or central, there's just no point signing him. So there has been plenty of movement. Staff as well. We have signed new staff over the summer. And then Adrian Brown Casey was released as a fitness coach. He really wanted to leave, so we just sort of let him in the end. Yeah, plenty of course, free transfers. We haven't paid any fees. Andrew Olson and Andy Barlow both retired, as did Richard Pell and Dave Stanley at the end of the season. Lee Hughes has now retired as well. So there are bits of changes to the squad, but they're not massive changes. They're not as many as I certainly thought that we would have. The under-18s were defeated, but the under-23s, who had a few of our senior players, have triumphed. I can see our senior boys. Perhaps not. Did they play? No. Okay. For some reason, Chris Clifton, who I've assigned to our under-23s, didn't actually play the senior lads that I sent down. Bit strange, but there you have it. Our squad at the moment, I've put these in position order, which I normally have. Craig Dagnall is youth goalkeeper. He'll go back down to the under-23s, probably, to leave us with Emil Worrell and Giannis Kontakos in goal. Then we've got a lot of options in defence. It was important for us to bring in a bit of competition, especially in central defence. With Tommy Lent, we've now got Francis Aliou, who was here last season, Craig Stanley, Ryan Dobson. I think he's quite a decent player that we've managed to pick up. His stats are on the improvement, and the important ones seem to be pretty decent. Into midfield and attack, we've retained the majority. So Connor Comer still here, Balde still here, Joshua Ede, Old Diego, Harry Walker. I expected Harry to go. Trent Coulter, Yannick Lund is a young lad. He'll probably spend another season in the under 23s. And then we've got James Wood, Ricardo Santos. So these are the lads that we're sort of looking at the minute, the likes of Simon Heslop. So we'll find out how he does. I think he was at Blythe Spartans. I think. I may have made that up. No, he was. There you go. So he's obviously played at a bit of a higher level, Vanarama North, as recently as last season. So he can't be that bad of a player, but it'll be interesting to see as his stats get filled out. So as he's here on trial for a week or so, we will find out if he's any good. And if so, we'll make him an offer to join the club. Paul Marshall, he's the other option. So decent at corners and free kicks. That's what really put him on the radar, to be honest. We do need players that can actually get the ball into the box. Whether he's good in open play, previously with Mossley, Buxton on Glossop, on loan there from Curzon Ashton, and was at Stockport actually in 2012 to 13. Interesting, made a few appearances as well. Youth career seems to be spent with Manchester City, so fairly local. You know, he was at Blackpool on loan, played at Rochdale as well. Not entirely convinced by him at the minute. I don't think he's much better than the likes of Trent Coulter, who was a player that we relied on last season. He's still only 22. I don't know why he's not got as many stars in the right position, because I think he's a fantastic player. We'll soon find out. In terms of our schedule, I think it's Nantwich we play first. It is. So here's our pre-season friendly results. As you can see, all of them at the county ground. All of that dollar coming in, just boosting our coffers. We've lost 2 games. One to Bury AFC just a couple of weeks ago, and one to Radcliffe. That was our first effort. But as you can see, plenty of goals all around in the games. 5-3s against Brickfield, Llandudno Junction, 6-3 against AFC Liverpool, Main Road, who are sort of higher than us in the league structure, 5-1. Draw with Bamber Bridge, nothing to turn your nose up at. 878 fans in attendance for that one. 9-3 against Padiham, with Tom Dawson and Connor Comer, big scorers there. AFC Darwin more modest, 3-1, and then obviously we've just had the Daisy Hill friendly. If I take off our friendlies, you can see our fixture list for the upcoming season. So we played the likes of Northwich and 1874 Northwich. Not sure if they're different clubs. I imagine so. Longridge Town, Squires Gate. I'm really excited about playing them. They'll certainly be aired, as will Charnock Richard. Skelmersdale, another team in our league as well. And we've got City of Liverpool and Bootle. The winners of the Northwest Counties, I believe, were Avro. Yes, Avro there at the top. So they have progressed on. In fact, can we see what league they're in this season? This is where we're aiming for. The pitching in Southern Division 1 North. So I assume there's a pitching league Northern Division 1 North that we'll try and get in for the season to come. So in terms of the preview, can I see that? Let's see where we're expected to be. Mid-table. 15-1, so actually shorter odds than last season. And we have Connor Comer in the Media Dream 11. That's interesting to see. City of Liverpool are expected to be the favourites. They are 11-10 on. That's interesting. I will say, of the two Northwich clubs, one's in 3rd, one's in 8th. Squires Gate just ahead of us in 9th. So last season, Bury AFC were the big favourites, followed, I believe, by AFC Liverpool. So it's another Merseyside club that are being suggested as top of the shops. In 12th, Longridge. Down at the bottom, 300-1. Charnock Richard expected to get relegated. That's a surprise, considering. Does Masamba play for them? I play for Northwich, that's why. It's the green that confuses me. But yeah, as you can see, Connor Comer for Leyland Albion, one of the players to watch. Do we have anybody else in the list? We do. Tom Dawson's there. Yeah, not a surprise considering his performances last season. So the recording schedule, currently it's 2 episodes a week still. Perhaps with lockdown that'll go up slightly. We'll see as the weeks go on. It does appear we'll have until mid-February in the current new lockdown. That's something to look forward to. And we start with Northwich. That will be our first game broadcast on YouTube. So I'll see you then. Thank you for joining me today for what is the 13th episode. One of the reasons why we had a pre-season friendly. Didn't want this to be a league fixture and it to go all horribly wrong with my own superstitions. But I will see you next week as we start at Northwich on our journey in the Northwest Counties Premier.